So, speaking of football, pass the mic down to Dustin.
My turn.
Yeah, we're going to talk football in Portugal just a little bit. Dustin?
How much time we got?
Oh, well, I'll cut you off. Don't worry about that. I'll tackle you. Oh, wait, no, I can't do that. First trip to Portugal, first trip for Camp Gridiron?
Yeah, it was my first trip to Portugal and actually my first mission trip ever as well. So, man, all I can say is we serve a great and awesome God. And to Billy's point, our Father is always at work. Lee shared a story a couple weeks ago about the issue at baggage claim, where we had dozens and dozens of bags literally to check, and the price tag associated with it, I'm sure, is pretty astronomical. And through the works of the Lord, he made it where we could get all of our bags pushed through without any charge to the trip. But even before that, for me personally, I was struggling back and forth. Actually, the group asked me last year to go on the trip. We had just joined the congregation and started coming here. And when this year came up, Chuck DeGear actually started recruiting me. Thanks, Chuck. And I went back and forth with it, and I prayed about it and talked to my wife about it. And the one thing that kept coming to my mind is you'll always find an excuse to say no. You'll always find a reason to say no. And so from that standpoint, I said, you know what, I'm going to commit myself to this, and I'm going to go. And just went into it with an open mind. I didn't know what to expect. I had no real expectations other than the fact that I love football, right? So that was the hook. And I love the Lord. And it was great to see the work that he's done through this group. And for those of you who don't know, this camp's been going on for, I think this is our 11th year, or the church's 11th year. And it was fantastic to get to see the seeds that had been planted by those before me in the years past, because there was a real desire for some of the folks over there to ask questions that you could tell was outside of their comfort zone and come to the group and looking for answers that they had. And we did our best, obviously, to at least be a sounding board and give them the opportunity to ask questions that they normally wouldn't get the opportunity to. And so from some of the seeds that have been planted, one of my personal stories is one of the gentlemen there, his last name is Zeller. I can't pronounce his first name to this day, but a fantastic guy. He's a young kid. I'm old enough I can call him a kid now. He's 24. But through the works that the group has done in the past, he finally wanted to come forth and have some questions about the Lord. And so one of the things that we started doing is we actually had a Bible study there at camp about 7:15 early one morning. And it was such an impact to him, he actually asked me if we could continue doing Bible studies together. And so we have a weekly FaceTime via Facebook Messenger where we get together and we have a Bible study. And, I actually kind of feel guilty because I feel like I received personally more out of the trip than what I contributed. And just the opportunity to get with Zeller on a weekly basis. I've never hosted a Bible study before. And it's great for me because it's now giving me the opportunity to study my faith from a different angle as the teacher, as opposed to just being the one to bring it in. And so all the way around, for me personally, the trip was fantastic. It's helped create a platform not only for us to disciple abroad, but also for us to strengthen some of the fellowship that we have here locally. What many of you may not know is that this trip has so many people involved that don't even attend our church. We have so many people from down in the San Antonio area, the Austin area, and so not only are we reaching abroad, but we're also reaching here domestically and spreading the word. And so for those of you that have not been on a trip, I can speak for me personally. It was one of the most fantastic and self-rewarding opportunities I've ever had in my entire life.
I can't add anything to that. That's excellent. But you notice a theme. So far, both of these gentlemen have used the same word, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if these folks don't use it too. Seeds planted. Frequently, we have an impression that when you do a mission trip, in maybe a traditional sense, that there will be people who immediately make salvation decisions. That's wonderful when it happens. But I would dare say frequently it's just that seeds are planted, relationships are built. But notice how technology has come to our benefit with you being able to do FaceTime with a gentleman in Portugal. Time differences, language, maybe not terrible differences. He obviously speaks some English, right?
Yeah, no, he speaks very fluent English. And we actually had our Bible study today. And, we talk about the Lord being at work, kind of a curveball this morning to our Bible studies. He actually invited his cousin. And so it's already starting to spread, right? And the enthusiasm that they have is already getting traction. And so the cool part is as we plan moving forward, the ability to leverage technology and actually have FaceTime with multiple individuals at the same time is something that we're looking forward to, and they're going to continue to invite more and more people.
Okay.
Wish me luck.
Now there's your assignment. You got to keep us posted on stuff like that. That's just an amazing thing. I mean, again, totally out of right field. It's been baseball. Y'all forgive me for using baseball instead of football. But no, I mean things that you just never consider, and it's amazing how God does that. I am personally grateful for your commitment to do this year. Very much so.
Thank you guys for having me. It was my pleasure, literally.
Yeah. Let me borrow your mic. I'm going to pass it so these guys can share it down here. Just split it in between. Laura, you hang on to it, or give it to Ryan, because he's going to be next.